coffee still cooling on the stove, a half-folded shirt on a silent chair. In place after place, daily life just paused, everything left behind, nothing disturbed, nothing taken. If leaving was urgent, why is there no chaos? And if they plan to return, why did no one ever come back? Moments like this feel impossible. Entire communities paused mid-routine, as if daily life simply stopped. But history records echoes of this pattern. Not disasters, not evacuations. What happens in places where everyone just left? The answer starts with silence, and the question of absence begins here. Clouded daylight settles over a neighborhood that should be busy. Houses stand in neat rows, each window reflecting the pale sky. There is no sign of movement, no footsteps on the pavement, no doors opening, no voices calling from porches. Lawns are trimmed, mailboxes closed, garden hoses coiled, as if waiting for someone to return. Streetlights, though not needed at this hour, are unbroken and upright. Power lines hum faintly overhead. The crosswalk stripes are bright, not yet faded by neglect. Cars rest in driveways, some with windows cracked open, as if their owners meant to step out for just a moment. Traffic signals blink through their cycle, red to green to yellow, even though there are no drivers to see them. In the distance, a playground sits empty, its swings barely stirring in the breeze. Nothing is boarded up or broken. The air carries only the soft whir of a distant transformer and the gentle rustle of leaves. There is no evidence of disaster or haste, no scattered belongings, no toppled bins, no shattered glass. Everything remains in its place, as if the world paused mid-breath. The ordinary details, the symmetry of fences, the alignment of parked bicycles, make the silence feel heavier. Here, absence is not a void but a presence. As in 1587, when more than 100 English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. When a supply ship returned 3 years later, the settlement stood intact. Homes remained, tools remained, humanity erased. The only clue left behind was a single word carved into wood, Croatoan. No confirmed trace of the colony was ever found. Much like Roanoke, the infrastructure endures, quietly waiting, as if expecting life to resume at any moment. Inside, the evidence of daily life lingers in small, unfinished acts. The stove coil still holds the faint warmth of recent use, its spiral darkening as it cools in the empty kitchen. A mug sits beside the sink, half filled, ringed with a trace of steam. On the counter, a loaf of bread has been sliced, but the knife rests mid-cut, and a folded napkin shelters, piece already buttered. A school workbook lies open on the table, a pencil rolling close to the edge, an unfinished line of chalk trailing off across a slate. The clock on the wall ticks forward, undisturbed. Shoes are lined up neatly by the door, their laces still tied. A child's toy car sits in the hallway, paused in the middle of a journey. Valuables remain in plain view. A watch on the dresser, rings in a ceramic dish, a wallet tucked beside a stack of unopened mail. The rooms are orderly, untouched by struggle or search. Nothing is packed or missing. These are not the remnants of panic or flight, but of routines interrupted. The air feels close, as if holding its breath. In the service log, a single entry notes, route completed. No response at any address. All appears in order. The handwriting is careful, the words brief. Each detail, cooling coil, unfinished sentence, half-folded shirt, speaks not of chaos, but of an absence that feels both recent and deliberate. Jewelry trays sit untouched on bedroom vanities, rings and watches arranged as if their owners planned to wear them again. A purse stands open, keys looped around a lipstick tube, nothing missing or disturbed. In living rooms, every item seems placed, as if someone stepped out and intended to return. From room to room, from house to house, the story repeats. And slowly, the pattern expands beyond walls, into entire communities. Vehicles remain in their usual places, sedans parked nose to curb, trucks in driveways, some with keys left on the dashboard or clipped to the sun visor. Glove compartments are closed, registration cards and insurance slips still inside. Grocery bags, half unpacked, slump in back seats, receipts flutter on the floor mats. Transport sits paused, ready to be used. At the edge of town, a row of delivery vans lines up by a shuttered storefront. Their tanks are half full, logbooks on the passenger seat, odometers frozen mid-route. Inside the corner store, the cash register is closed and locked. The display case holds trays of watches and bracelets, tags still attached. Shelves are stocked, labels facing forward, nothing swept aside or hurriedly gathered. Stillness hangs in the aisles. Every valuable remains in plain view, from gold cufflinks on nightstands to antique cameras perched on shelves. Absence of theft is as notable as the objects themselves. No suitcases are packed, no closets emptied. The evidence repeats in every space. The things people treasure most left behind as if they expected to come back for them. The pattern is unbroken. Valuables, transport, and daily tools remain, untouched by strangers, preserved by the quiet. Centuries later, the pattern appears again. In northern Canada, reports emerged from a remote Inuit settlement near Lake Anjikuni in 1930. According to accounts, an entire village was found abandoned. Fires were extinguished. Food stores remained. Hunting tools were left behind. Even sled dogs, reportedly still tethered, had been abandoned where they stood. Historians and investigators continue to debate the accuracy of these reports, but the story persists, not because it is proven, but because it feels familiar. A suitcase rests at the foot of a bed, half packed, clothes folded with care but not yet zipped away. On the nightstand, a calendar lies open. One date, circled in ink, sits a week ahead, a dentist appointment, a birthday, some ordinary reason to expect a return. A handwritten note, tucked beneath a paperweight, reads simply, "See you soon." The handwriting is steady, the message brief, as if the writer stepped out for an errand rather than a departure. A scholar's voice enters, measured and calm. Objects left in place become a kind of language. When we find a suitcase open, or a calendar marked for the future, these are not just remnants. They are signals, traces of intent. We read them as evidence that departure was meant to be temporary. In the hallway, a coat hangs on its usual hook, a scarf draped loosely through the collar. A grocery list is magneted to the refrigerator, items checked off, a few still waiting to be crossed out. On a coffee table, a library book lies open to a dog-eared page, the due date stamped for the following week. Each detail resists the idea of finality. These are not the marks of a life uprooted, but of one paused, unfinished chores, plans deferred, routines left intact for the moment they might resume. The scholar continues. In anthropology, we look for patterns in how people signal their intentions. A packed bag at the door, a note promising to return. These are not accidents. They tell us something about expectation, about hope. Yet the silence around these objects deepens. No footsteps return to claim the suitcase. No hand reaches for the coat. The ordinary things that once pointed toward tomorrow now linger untouched, carrying the weight of unanswered questions. From early colonial settlements to remote northern villages to forgotten towns scattered across modern maps, the details change, the geography changes, but the ending rarely does. Communities do not always collapse in chaos. Sometimes they simply close. And when they do, what remains behind raises a quieter, more unsettling question. When a place is left behind, its future is often decided not by those who lived there, but by the rules that linger after them. Local authorities assume custody, sometimes holding properties for years before any real change occurs. Preservation laws can freeze entire neighborhoods in their final state, with some sites protected indefinitely as historic records elsewhere. Legal holding periods stretch from months to decades as officials debate whether to auction, restore, or simply let time reclaim what remains. Tourism sometimes brings new visitors, drawn by the quiet and the order. But most decisions happen far from the empty rooms, on paper in offices, through protocols designed for places where life has paused but not truly ended. A single room, lit by the last of the afternoon. The air seems thick, pressing in on every surface. A clock ticks, steady and unchanged. The hum of distant wires fades, replaced by the soft settling of the house itself. For a moment, nothing moves. No footstep, no voice, not even the creak of a settling floorboard. The quiet stretches, long and unbroken, until even the smallest sounds are gone. It is as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for something that never comes. Today, empty spaces outnumber explanations. As populations shrink and economies shift, more towns pause mid-story, orderly, untouched, waiting. The real question is, how do we know when it is truly over? And not just a silence before return. Roanoke left behind a word. Anjikuni left behind a story. Other places leave behind nothing at all. And perhaps that is what unsettles us most. Not disappearance, but departure. This absence lingers longer than any answer.